All right, I'm Winston Crutchfield reporting for Christian Geek Central, and I'm on the line with Eric Bitterman from Sky Kingdom Games. How are you, Eric?
Good. Glad to be with you.
Oh, I appreciate you coming on with us. Now, we kind of ran into each other at Gen Con this year, where you were doing a demo, you were running a demo table for your new game, Land of Zion. And I'm wandering through the game hall, and I see this giant floating island with these almost fantasy characters throwing purple lightning around, and it looks just very, very cool. One of your guys pops up and says, "Hey, do you want to try a demo?" And I said, "Well, yeah." So, so we got to talking, and now it's a little bit later, and you're ready to go full on with your upcoming Kickstarter very, very soon. So, why don't you tell us about Sky Kingdom Games and the Land of Zion?
Awesome. Well, Sky Kingdom Games is a brand new publishing company that I started in October of last year, and started it so that I could publish Land of Zion. Land of Zion was a game, or is a game, that I started developing about 15 years ago with a group of friends, and it started as a tabletop miniature type game that we just kind of created scenarios and played with just our own rules. And over the years, it slowly developed into a card game with strategy elements and resource management. And we all added mechanics that we thought were fun and easy to learn. And we are finally at a place where we are looking forward to sharing this game with the world and seeing what people think.
Well, I was certainly very impressed when I got to look at it at your Gen Con table. The artwork is utterly gorgeous, and the mechanics has a broad range of tactical options. But I think what really got me more than anything else was the story that you've got going there, the story revolving around the Land of Zion. So take us through the story.
Absolutely. So the Land of Zion story starts 1,000 years back in the Land of Zion, and there's a city that's called Lux, the city of Lux, which is Latin for light. And there's this king that reigns over the city and the land, and he loves his people and spends time with them, and the people love their king. And during this time of peace, all of a sudden this dark force known as Tenebris, which is Latin for darkness, kind of creeps up within the land, and it kind of twists the mind of the people and convinces them that they don't need their king anymore and that they need to rise up against him. So the people they kind of gather their forces in this army and raid the city of Lux. And in this moment, the king looks over the people, and he's saddened to see this happen, but he loves them. And he decides to utter these words of power and separate the city of Lux from the ground. And the city actually floats up into the sky and disappears from the land. And the people are left there in darkness and continuing to be corrupted by the Tenebris that are still in the land. Now, fast forward a couple thousand years, and we're at where this game starts. So the city of Lux that had disappeared a couple thousand years ago has now reappeared in the same place where it used to stand, and it's floating over this great valley where it used to sit. And there's these stones in the land that are called speaking stones. And they're called speaking stones because the king of Lux is actually speaking through the stones to the people, calling out to them. And he's actually drawing them to come to this valley that's underneath the city. And he's warning them that the Tenebris, that dark force, is gathering its forces for one last battle against the people. So the game is players training against each other for this upcoming battle against the Tenebris.
That's very cool. I like that there's this rich backstory to this, and not only that, you have a rich forward story, which isn't something that you see a whole lot. Tell me a little bit about some of the elements, the tactical elements that you feel make this game stand out from other card game and war games.
Absolutely. There's a few different mechanics that our team really loved putting in this game, and one was that the game is played on a huge grid. It's 25 by 35 inches, and you move your character units along this grid, kind of like a chess match, but you're, flinging abilities and things back and forth. But one neat thing about the abilities that you're using is that you're drawing resource cards every turn in order to use those abilities. So there's a balance of being able to hold my cards to use those abilities, or fuse those cards to the characters to activate defensive abilities. And we call fusion, this keyword fusion is where you actually equip that card to the character, and it counts against your hand size in the game. So there's that delicate balance of equipping the cards to you and getting less cards per turn, or holding on to more cards to be able to use later.
That's very, very cool. And then, of course, the defensive and offensive stats that you have during the game, those are going to go up and down. And I thought that was really intriguing, managing your offensive and defensive abilities at the same time that you're managing your hand size and your resources. Very cool stuff.
Definitely.
So, one of the other things, the whole backstory. I mean, you've got this heavily Christian-themed backstory, but it's not. I mean, it's part of the what you call the lore. It's part of the background material. It's there, and you're not beating anybody's head into the ground with it. But you're not making any effort to to hide that or soften that either. So tell us how you get to the crossroads of Christianity and gaming.
Well, absolutely. I don't think there's any way you can escape when faith is so much part of who you are and who I am, that you wouldn't see that as part of a project of this size. And I wanted to, infuse my personal faith into this game in a subtle way, but that people who would appreciate that would see those connections as well. Just like C.S. Lewis used literature to communicate spiritual truths with fantasy and fiction, I wanted to use the medium of games and board games in this case to communicate some spiritual parallels and imagery as well. And I think people are really going to enjoy that.
That's very cool. Now you've got one more thing that really makes this stand out from other games, and that is you've got a full soundtrack that you've written or had written for the game. Tell us about the music.
Yeah, absolutely. One part of my backstory is I'm a musician. I've been playing piano and percussion for over 30 years. And when I created this game and saw that it had such a rich backstory and lore, I thought it would be neat to add music to add to the experience. And some players, I think, are really going to enjoy this, and other players, might not care and might just want to play the gameplay. But for those that will enjoy it, I think they're really going to love it. And I reached out to composer Bill Piatut, who's written some amazing full-length movie soundtracks. And together we worked on this full orchestration of pieces for this game that players can listen to while they play to add a completely different experience to the gameplay.
All right. So when's your Kickstarter running?
So Land of Zion launches on Kickstarter and will run from October 4th to November 3rd. And you can find out more on the game's website right now at landofzion.com. And you can even listen and preview to the game's soundtrack, read the full rule book there, and see plenty of artwork as well.
We look forward to following this as this journey goes forward, and do please drop by the forums at christiangeekcentral.com and let us know how things are going, and what new developments are happening there. Keep us kind of up to date. Other than that, Eric, thank you so much for taking time to talk to me today.
Thanks so much. I appreciate you giving me the time to share this project with all of you.